My therapist told me something once that completely changed the way I see myself. She said, "You don't come out to the world first. You come out to yourself." At first I didn't really get it. I thought coming out meant telling other people, finding the right time, the right words, the right reaction. But what she meant, and what took me years to understand, is that before anyone else knows who you are, you have to stop lying to the person staring back at you in the mirror. That sentence changed everything. Because the truth is, I'd been keeping secrets from myself long before I ever kept them from anyone else. Before that day, I thought I was fine, or at least, I told myself I was. I smiled when people asked if I was dating anyone. I laughed when my mom joked about the lucky guy I'd meet one day. I played along, because pretending was safer than the truth. I didn't grow up in a family that hated queer people, but we didn't talk about them either. It was like they existed in a faraway world that didn't touch ours. And so, when I realized I wasn't straight, I didn't even have the words to describe it. I didn't have examples. No one I could point to and say, "That's me." So, I did what so many of us do. I pushed it down, I folded my truth neatly, and hid it inside a version of myself that everyone could accept. That version was polite, careful, good at blending in. But late at night, when I was alone, and the world went quiet, I could feel it. The lie, the weight of it sitting in my chest. Heavy, constant. That's why I started therapy. Not because I wanted to come out, but because I couldn't breathe under the weight of pretending anymore. The day everything changed didn't feel special. It was a Wednesday. The kind of day that just disappears into all the others. I sat across from my therapist, talking about how tired I was. Tired of feeling disconnected. Tired of never feeling enough. She listened quietly, the way she always did, then asked, "When was the last time you felt truly honest with yourself?" I laughed. Honest? What did that even mean? She said, "You speak about your friends, your job, your family, but you never talk about you. The part of you that exists when no one's watching." And for some reason, that sentence made my throat tighten. I said, "I don't know who that is anymore." She smiled gently and said, "I think you do. You've just been pretending not to." Silence filled the room. I stared at the floor. And then it happened. The words slipped out before I could stop them. "I think I like girls." It was quiet, barely a whisper, but it was the loudest truth I'd ever said. I expected her to react, to ask questions, to analyze it, but she didn't. She just said, "Okay." Just that. Two simple syllables that made me feel seen, for the first time in years. And then she added, "You don't have to be ready to tell anyone else, but you do have to stop hiding from yourself." That night, I did what she told me. I went home, stood in front of the mirror, and said it out loud. "I'm gay." The first time I said it, it came out shaky, like I didn't quite believe it yet. So I said it again, and again, until the words started to feel like mine. And then, something unexpected happened. I cried, not because I was sad, but because it finally felt real. For years I thought of my identity as something fragile, something I had to protect from the world. But standing there, alone, looking at my reflection, I realized it wasn't fragile at all. It was strong, steady, constant, like it had been waiting patiently inside me, hoping I'd finally notice it. That's the twist no one tells you about coming out. You think the scariest part is telling the world, but the real fear, the real battle, is learning to tell yourself the truth, without shame. And once you do, everything starts to change. Before that night, I thought the word gay was heavy, a label, a risk. But after that night, it felt like freedom. I didn't come out to my family right away. I didn't post about it online. I didn't do anything big or brave. But I started making small changes. The kind no one else noticed at first. I stopped dodging questions. I stopped laughing at jokes that hurt. I stopped apologizing for wanting to exist as myself. I started to breathe differently. Deeper, fuller. That's when I realized something else my therapist had been trying to teach me. That self-acceptance isn't a single moment. It's 1,000 small ones that build on each other. Until you wake up one morning and realize you're no longer hiding. That's what coming out journeys really are. Not a single leap, but a series of steps, each one braver than the last. That's the part we don't always talk about in lesbian stories, because the big moments are easy to romanticize. But it's the quiet ones, the nights when you sit with yourself and say, I am who I am, and that's okay, that truly change your life. My therapist once said, the first step isn't saying it to them, it's saying it to you. And I think about that every time someone asks me, how did you come out? Because the truth is, I came out long before I ever told anyone else. I came out the night I stopped avoiding my reflection, the night I looked myself in the eye, and decided to tell the truth, even if no one else ever heard it. That's the real beginning. That's where all queer stories start, not with an audience, but with honesty. If you're listening right now, and you're somewhere in the middle of your own coming out journey, if you're scared, if you're not ready, if the words still get stuck in your throat, please hear me. You don't have to rush. The first step isn't loud. It's quiet, it's personal, it's sacred, and it's yours. When you're ready, stand in front of that mirror, take a deep breath, and tell yourself who you are. Say it once, say it twice, say it until it feels real. You don't need anyone else's permission. You don't need validation. You just need that moment with yourself. That small, brave act of honesty. And from there, everything else, the pride, the community, the love, will follow. Because you've already taken the hardest step. So if my story found you tonight, if it made you feel seen, or reminded you of your own first step, leave a comment below. You don't have to share details. You can just write, I'm starting, and I'll know what that means. Because that's where all of this begins, with one small act of courage. And if you want to be part of a space where coming out journeys, lesbian stories, and queer voices are heard and celebrated, hit subscribe. Stay. This is your space too.